Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Aligned Action. I have not been this excited about something in a long time. Before we got on today, of course, the universe, someone had other plans, right? And I embrace that. I embrace that because the old me would have freaked out. This would have derailed my whole message for you all today. And I think that it was meant to be that way. Everything everything happens for a reason. That statement has always been in my life. It can be as cliche as you want, or it can truly mean something to you. So I'm taking this as a sign that this message is meant to be heard because something was trying to prevent you all from hearing it today. And it's about aligning, realigning, pivoting, saying, what can I do to be a problem solver? What can I do to keep my energy high? Because I am in the zone, and I'm so glad to see you guys all here. Shell, Erica, Harley, what's up, ladies? Hillary, we got Jessica, Kathy, Kelly, Rochelle. It feels so good to be among you all. And I know a lot of you have already messaged me saying you're going to watch this later. You are here, though, in real time. And this is so special to me. Someone said this about another program, and they said, our content, what we create, it lives on. So you might be watching this months later. Today, I'm going to take you through something that is really exciting for me. This book that I'm in, it's already in the past. It just released, and it's already in the past. That's how I've already grown. So I just want to commend you all for being here today, because literally this is you wanting to be here. This is you feeling the vibration, tuning in. I'm going to light this Palo Santo before we get started because I want to clear the air. I want to be on neutral space. You guys, I have learned over time the power of intention and really being all there. So I want you to set an intention for what you hope to gain from today. I know I have desires for what I hope you all to gain, but let's clear the air. Anything that happened this morning or anything that happened today, earlier this week, you guys, let's clear that out and let's be open. Be completely open to receiving this message today. All right, don't be off somewhere else. If you can't fully absorb, if you can't take notes and download what's going to be said here, then come back when you're ready, because I think that's what's so powerful about alignment, and why you're here today is because you felt that. You decided on your own. You were empowered to be here. I didn't come into your inbox and say, "Do you want to do this course?" I put it out there energetically. And I said, this is available. I'm offering this to you. Who wants this? Who's going to step up into their power? So this series is called Unleashed. Unleashed. I literally I was watching a video, and all of these ideas started to come into my head, and I jumped on it. I said, I know what to do next. When you're in alignment, you know what to do next. You're getting these intuitions, you're getting this inspiration. And I said, I got to do this. This is something women need. I need to put this out there. We're going to start with alignment. And I thought of it on the 29th, and I said, well, shit, tomorrow's October 1st. I guess I better start this tomorrow. It's now or never. And so I think that is the an underlying message to a lot of alignment is really just starting sometimes before you're ready, so you can decide and figure out what is you and what is not, what works and what doesn't. Because what I'm getting ready to take you through is my my unconditioning. And I think that alignment and unconditioning, it goes hand in hand. You can't be aligned if you are conditioned by all of these outside factors, right? Like your environment or your circumstance or your you need that co-companionship, whatever it is. There's so much power in really seeking within yourself. And I mentioned the book and how even my way that I talk about alignment in that, it's more of an external alignment. And even since then, it's crazy how many shifts have happened when I have started to align inward with my emotions, my thoughts, my energy. And I really think this is the part that isn't being talked about. A lot of us here today, you're watching because you are an entrepreneur. You have that mindset. You are some way selling a service, a product, right? But essentially, it's you. So alignment is very important. It is the foundation. It is what sets you apart. And the sooner we can figure out what makes us tick, right? What triggers us or activates us. These are all things. So I have come up with the 5 R's. I like to have little ways for people to remember things. And I think that in alignment, we first need to recognize. So recognize is number 1. All right, number 2 is reflecting. So you first you recognize what are some of these things that are out of alignment. We'll talk about them in a minute. And then you reflect. You reflect on why. Where is this coming from? And then it's the release. The release is probably one of the reflecting and the releasing are super important. I think we can all recognize when we're out of alignment because those are more physical emotions. Like we feel them. It just, it triggers us. And after we release, then it's time to reprogram. This is the where the deconditioning gets put into action. This is the aligned action. You can hear all of this all day, but if you don't actually do it, and we tend to suppress a lot of this because some of this is hard stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you're really tapping into like a lot of it reflects back on you, and you're like, I wanted it to be because of that. I wanted it because of this, but it's responding versus reacting. And you're all here because you're strong enough to hold that. It's duality, you guys. Like you can't feel one without the other. So don't beat yourselves up. Like use this as an empowerment. Rochelle sent me this beautiful quote yesterday about it's not about waking the sheep anymore. It's about waking the lions. There's so often we play small and we try to find people that might be below us. Let's find people who are beside us, right? Or above us. Like, because we want to either calibrate up or we want people to calibrate up to us. You guys, like I said, I started this group 7 days ago, and already magic is unfolding. It's unleashing because of one bold move. And it was scary. Trust me. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, here's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to start with aligned action first. I know what these other topics are going to be. They're all going to be a deeper part of your alignment, but I'm not going to focus on those yet. So focus on one thing at a time. Set your intention. What today do you need to hear? What do you need to release? What are some things that have been holding you back? So let's talk about recognizing if you're not in alignment. Put some words in the comments that you feel, some emotions you feel when you believe you're out of alignment. I can see all your comments coming in. Please interact, you guys. This is awesome. Stressed, anxiety, confused, worried, helplessness, stress, guilt. Yep, see, and you guys, you're in a safe space. We all go through these things. We all feel this because we know we were made for more. So we pay attention to these things because we want to be the best version of ourselves. So often we beat ourselves up because people don't understand us or where we're coming from. We have these good intentions, but these are the things that are blocking us. I know because I've been in them. The disappointment, um, the not knowing what to do next. What else did I write down? Bitterness, frustration, um, force. So I'm someone that wanted something so bad that I tried to control everything. Anyone else out there, you try to control the situation, and how you do anything is how you do everything. So this wasn't only in my business. This was controlling, you know, where we were going to eat or who was going to the grocery store because God forbid, my husband gets something that is different that I'm not sure about. Um, we try to control everything with our kids. Like if they did something wrong, then I'm the bad parent. Oh my gosh. And then that's this loop of perfectionism. I've always had that in my mind. This I'm not going to do it until it's perfect. Like the old me would have gone through these notes over and over and almost had it be so scripted to where I wasn't feeling. I was thinking about what I was going to say next versus like feeling you here. And like to be honest, this might be better than a Facebook live because I get to see you. I get to have that we get to have that energy, right? We neglect the power of energy alone because we've not really been taught that. Like we don't know what we don't know. So until we start tapping into these things that like, whoa, that lights me up. Whoa, how did that come across my timeline? Whoa, where did this person come from? That's because that's tapping into something that you've not done before. So this is where I say this is the missing piece because when I when I wrote about this book, it was basically my alignment into really finding what I liked, just what I liked, okay? Because I let outside projections determine what I liked. Oh, well maybe I do like that group of people, or maybe I do like the way that they're doing that. I was never really solid in my own foundation, but I was willing to try things. And this is where I say if you're unsure, you can't even tap into that, just start trying things. Don't be attached to any immediate expectation. Just know that everything is a stepping stone. It's all going to lead somewhere. Do you trust? Do you have the faith? Do you want something bad enough that you're willing to do what it takes? And yes, you do, because you're here today plugging into this. So it's within you. It just needs to be brought out of you, right? Like as soon as you tap into that person, Kiana said it great. It was like when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive. Okay. And so I hope to be that mentor for you, but it has to be an energetic match. And if not, then I hope to empower you to go out and find someone that does bring out something inside of you. Because so often we're just like, yeah, it's good. Everything's fine. It's okay. But like, are you really lit up? Are you really waking up with a fire in your belly? Do you really feel like what you are here for is to make an impact? And if so, then it really truly it starts with you. So once we have recognized, right, we recognize this, we have to do something about it, right? So if it feels off, if it's off. If it even just feels off, you can just feel it. Like I remember when I caught the vision early on and I knew that I wanted to live life on my terms. So I just jumped in and tried something. But over time, we can do things out of alignment at first, but it's not going to be sustainable and it's not going to keep you lit up, keep you going, right? So I went all in, this masculine energy, like I'm ready to do this. It's going to happen like this. I have gotten a taste of maternity leave and I want to be home. I don't want to be sitting behind a desk. I can do this, right? And that's good. We all believe in ourselves. But what we don't know is that it can take time. And so over time, I was like, I'm forcing this. Like, this isn't fun anymore. I'm like getting frustrated. I'm getting discouraged. Like I started doing, started working on this business to take over my full time because I believed in myself. And now I'm like self doubting myself. It's actually backfiring. Who feels that? Who's felt that? Like I'm just gonna, maybe I'm not made for this. I'm getting in fights with my husband. I'm not spending the time with my kids. I'm feeling bad about myself. Like, I'm just going to go back to how it was because it's easier. But is it easier 10, 20 years later when you're still there and you see those people that gave you that vision in the first place and you see where they are and you're like, that's hard. That regret is hard. Okay, so the same with fast forward, selling our house, jumping into an RV. Like, whoa. I don't know. That's the unknown. That's tapping into the unknown. But guess what? This past year has been so worth it. We learn things along the way if you look for them. So nothing, I don't want anyone to, like, when you're doing this work, because this is work, right? You're doing inner work, and like I told you, it can get heavy. So don't try not to beat yourself up over these things, and really use it as your power. This is your power because you're recognizing this, whereas other people, they don't. They just become who others want. They live in this mediocreness, and you're not truly unleashing what you have to offer. So give yourself grace and use it as fuel, use it as a lesson. That's one thing that I've learned to do, just like today. What's the lesson behind this technical difficulty? It's okay, you guys. Give yourself some grace. So that leads into number 2 is surrender, release, the other R. So first we recognize, and then we release. Okay? We release that from us because we have to create space. If we're just having all of this inside of us, we're forcing things that don't work. We keep doing it because that's how they did it, and if that's how they were successful, then that must be how I'm going to be successful. And then we say, why isn't this working? What am I doing wrong? We keep blaming, like, I just need to push harder. I just need to work harder. Do you? Or do you need to get more intentional? Do you need to actually release? Because I know for me that was it. I was almost sabotaging myself because I was trying, like I said, to control. So as soon as, things fell out from under me, lost my corporate job, this fallback plan B had to become my plan A. And that's another thing. I was always just like, well, if it happens, it happens. I've got my job. I wasn't fully committed. And so that's another thing. Like, you have to decide, you have to fully commit. It's again, it's testing you. I thank God every day that the job got pulled out from under me and I didn't have to make that hard decision. It was like, well, here you go. And so when I surrendered, when I released, that's when the opportunities started coming in. So if you feel stuck, the first thing you can do is, just like I said, just surrender. Go have some self-reflection. It was like I threw my hands up, and the saying "let go and let God" became a big one for me. I put it on a necklace. I sat in the bath. You guys, what do you do to release? Is it a walk in nature? Is it water? Is it journaling? Have you tried things like Reiki, or have you tried meditation, or even just self-care massage? But here's the thing, you can't just say, oh yeah, I did that. You have to really fully be intentional and spend that time doing that, because a lot of times I thought that I was in that zone of unleashing, but I was still busying my mind. I've been so conditioned to multitask. I actually thought it was a good thing. Like, I'm a multitasker. I can work my job and listen to this podcast and do this. But was I really absorbing any of it? I don't know. Maybe a little bit in my subconscious, but what else was in my subconscious? So that can be hard to do because especially us as mothers, we're so used to making sure everyone else is okay. And we'll get into this more in next week. She who loves herself leads herself. But I just want to let you know some of the things that I started to do to surrender, because I think that this is an exercise that would be good to do this weekend, right? It's the weekend. Give yourself some time to breathe. Like right now, take a deep breath. Where do you feel blocked physically? Is it in your chest? Is it in your belly? Is it in your back? Breathe into that. Like sometimes just one breath alone helps you to absorb something else, creates space. So you can say, I am releasing. You can have a mantra. I am releasing that which no longer serves my alignment, my highest power, my highest self, whatever that is. I'm releasing it. It's not good for me. It doesn't serve me. And I welcome in what does. I welcome in abundance. So sometimes you need that little physical ritual to feel it, to really let yourself know, because we're so used to having these like physical things we see. And that is another one of our blocks, is a lot of what's coming to us is unseen. And so it's the trusting. All right, so what are you guys saying here? I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. That is beautiful. Yes. And if those things find you, then guess what? Other people have the ability to do the same. We so often we disregard things for others that we say for ourselves. Like, guys, if you find opportunities and people, and you act on that, and you are a go-getter, and you take accountability, guess what? Other people can do that too. We don't give people enough credit, and so we start attracting these people who are less than because we think less than ourselves. So yes, what is meant for you will find you, and others will find you when you are meant for them. So when you work on yourself and you are in your own vibration, your energy, they can calibrate up, right? Like I said, we want people to calibrate up. We don't want to go down to their level. So start finding what makes you excited. Don't do things if they don't light you up. This is where you can reflect. So we have the recognition, the release, and the reflection. And I kind of think that recognizing and reflecting go a little bit hand in hand, and then you can release. So, if you're feeling frustrated, well, why? Reflect on why. What situation were you in, or what happened? Get really good at tuning in to yourself and shortening the time that you let that affect you. I know for so long I would harbor on things. I would have these assumptions, or I would have these, oh, I should be doing this. Did you guys see that quote the other day? Is like, wake up in the day and say, what do I feel called to do today? Not what should I do? Because when you're doing things out of should, you're not being intentional. You're just checking off a box, just like watching videos. Like, oh, I got this whole list of videos. I need to just watch them all. Is that really doing any? You'd be better off watching one, sitting down, taking notes, pausing it. How many times I watch something, I pause it, and I'm like, oh my God, I had an idea. I need to write it down. Do you write things down? Do you journal? From a young age, I journaled, and it started out with just about my day. I mean, I used to sometimes stop journaling because I gave myself rules on journaling. You give yourself rules on meditating. That's all that masculine energy. Instead of just releasing and letting go and letting whatever flows to you flow to you, and trusting that whatever is meant for you is meant for you. So much of what we attract is based on that energetics, that emotion, that pureness. And if you don't know who you are, it's confusing, right? It's like you get people tuning in and they're like, they thought it was one station, but then they find out it was another. And then they're like, I'm not here for that. So if you're not clear on who you are, how can you expect people to, you know, fuel you and fill you up and be the one for you? And this can go for anything, right? Can go for relationships, business, um opportunities, like anything, right? So start thinking and reflecting. um what activates you? Is it the assumptions you're making on yourself? Is it the people pleasing? Are you saying yes to things that you don't really want to say yes to? Then you can't get mad at that situation. You can only learn from yourself and be like, no, I need to set some boundaries. I used to do that. I used to say yes when in my head I knew I was going to come up with an excuse later. And then I felt guilty. The shame. So, why do we do these things to ourselves? Be so confident and rooted in who you are, and that takes time unplugging. You guys, this world is moving so fast, and that's why I say it was this past year of being on the road and not having all these obligations and burdens and expectations that I was doing just out of um that needing that validation to validate my worthiness. Like, oh, if I say yes to all these things and I'm there for all these people and I do all this, then I am worthy of it all. But inside, you're just burned and you're not really doing it for the right reasons. And people can feel that. They really can feel that. So I fell into this, do less better, quality over quantity, tapping into you. It's not selfish. It's actually more selfish if you don't, because then you're not showing up in your fullest potential for people, or you think crying is a weakness. I think it's a strength, because I know the times where I've laid in the bath during the releasing, the surrender, and I don't know where these tears came from, but it was like as soon as they came out, my whole body, my whole nervous system felt better. It was like, because you're doing the inner work. It's the people that avoid it, that just suppress it and say, I'm fine, things are good, it's all good. That's a little bit of weakness, because you're not willing to tackle those inner demons and fears and things that are not your fault, guys. It's conditioning from over the years, from society, from everything we've been told. And it's this resisting. And until we break through that and we're like, whoa, this is what it should feel like I said, you can't feel the joy without the frustration. You can't feel the abundance without the lack. You can't feel the intuition and the certainty without the uncertainty, right? So know that this law of duality, use it to your advantage. Don't make it a negative. The fact that you're even willing to tap into those things, you're already like unpeeling these layers, and you're ahead of your time, because so many people aren't willing to get here. So reflect. Something that really helped me reflect, some of you already know this, you've already been tapping into it yourself, but human design. And I'm just going to tell you some of these things, like I said, that I've done, and you can apply them if they speak to you. Like I said, with the journaling, the Reiki, the meditation, prayer alone, faith in God, okay? But the human design was huge for me, because it uncovered these themes, these reoccurring themes, I'm going to call them that, in my life. And I was like, whoa, I'm not crazy. Like, I was designed this way. And if I'm off, if I'm not self, which means unaligned, then I'm feeling blah, 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 blah. And everything that was listed there, I was like, oh, okay, that's validating. And then I can say, now I know that I get to work with these things. So what path should I go on? What does light me up? One of the things is this right here, is guiding people. First embodying it, going through it myself, and then sharing it. I think so often we just think that, um, you know, we're ready, we're ready to go. Like, we're ready to go out and impact the world. And yes, that is true. But if you don't live through it first, how are you ever going to be on that same playing field with people? How are people going to relate to you? So trust in your timing too. Like, when you're ready to hold it all, when you're ready to hold space for others as well as your own stuff, then you're ready. Because there's times where I wasn't ready. And I look back and I'm like, hey, that had to happen first. So when you look at this as like a how far can I go instead of like how long is this going to take, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Your story's being written. Everything that you're going to share and talk about and that's going to draw people in is because of your story and your journey. But if you don't slow down long enough, and I mean like disconnect, like not just like, oh yeah, I just put my phone down for an hour. Like, get in these new routines. So this is the reprogramming. We literally have to reprogram our brain because so much subconsciously comes in. And I still have to like intentionally practice this. Like, I've started putting my phone in airplane mode at night. I've started not waking up and going to my phone right away. I still do every once in a while, right? But what do I want the first thing in my head to be in the morning? Do I want it to be some outside conditioning? Do I want somebody what if the first post I see is so negative and then that sticks in my head all day long? Or do I want to control what the first thoughts are in my head that day? Your inner power can do that for you. So often we allow others, we are weak in the fact that we don't have our own power to create our own happiness, our own success. Like I said, if you want something bad enough, you're going to do these things until you master them, and then you're going to pass it on. So how are you going to reprogram yourself? Are you going to tap into your emotions more? If something activates you, are you going to pause and write it down? Are you going to practice responding versus reacting? How many times have you guys like typed out this whole long response because you're all fired up, and then something kicks in, your conscious kicks in, and you're like, shit, I'm just gonna say have a great day. I'm happy for you, right? Like, don't allow other people's emotions to become yours. I think that's a big one for me too, is knowing what's yours and what's others and allowing that to just pass through you. Recognize it, reflect on it for a minute, and then release it. And then reprogram. And you start to see these patterns come up and you start reprogramming the patterns. Does that help you guys? You're loving it. Yep. Don't want to be an onion. And it's peeling back those layers. And it's not being vanilla either. I think so often we just kind of we do what everyone else is doing because it's safe. Or we say, oh, everybody wants to hear this, I guess I'll talk about this. But is it what you want to talk about? Does that light you up? You're not for everyone. As soon as I recognize that, it's so freeing because then you actually get to draw in the people who want to be here. Like I said, you guys want to be here. It's exhausting talking and sharing such powerful insight to deaf ears. So why do we keep doing that? It starts with you and what you're open for, and what you believe is powerful, and that you want to attract a certain type of person, or you just want to attract who's meant for you. Relinquish all the control and just start peeling back those layers, peeling them back until little by little more authentic. And that's when this rebirth happens, the last R, the rebirth. This is when the magic starts happening. You guys have already seen it. Like I said, just by being among a group like this who have similar energies, it gives you the permission, because you know that, like, man, they're doing this. I can do it. There's other people that want this content, this info, this lifestyle, this new way of thinking, this deconditioning. I always thought that. I'm like, why does it have to be this certain way? Why do you know, like, who says? And it's just being brave and bold enough to, like, try a new way until you find a way that works. Again, like, it's not right. It's only right if it works for you. If it works for someone else and it doesn't work for you, it's not right. So there's a million ways to do something. It's really figuring out what sparks you, what is a hell yes, not just a, well, I guess I should do that. I guess so. I'll try that. I mean, make it a hell yes. Think back on your life. What has activated you? What has got you excited? And run with that. If it's an interest, if it is a place, and just know that that was meant for a reason. You don't know what that's going to lead to, but you know that the energy you're in with that person or in that moment or in that place, that lights you up. And so you want more of that. If you're ever in this, you start reflecting and you feel yourself in these low vibes, go back to that time, and you can always close your eyes and you can always feel that feeling again. Are you on a mountaintop? Are you hiking and you're just like, this is it. This is what feels good. Then try to embody that more often. Go back to those spaces. Tap into that. The more you become mastering in these things, the more you can collapse time, because you're able to pass through these things faster. You're able to address these things and not, allow them to pass through, or you're able to shift or pivot. You're able to evolve, right? You can always evolve. You don't have to have everything so perfect. What you're talking about now or what fills you up now, it could change a little bit. Everything doesn't have to be all mapped out. You just have to take this action. You have to start. You have to decide and commit to yourself and learn as you grow. Slow down, really, truly. Slow down. I know so often we think, but then I'm not doing anything. I'm not being productive. You guys feel that way? But it is. It really truly is, because again, if we're selling ourselves, if we are our biggest asset, then we have to take care of ourselves. We have to refuel, and we have to tap into what's blocking us. So that is work. That's almost better productive work, because then we're drawing what's meant to us. Opportunities come out of nowhere. This is the rebirth, the magic, this magnetism, the flow, the content just coming in, the next step. What am I doing next? You just know you're always a step ahead, because you're aligned, you're confident in where you're going. You're doing the inner work. What are you guys thinking? Are you already, like, feeling a shift? Hopefully just by being here and plugging in, you're feeling this shift. If so, I invite you to then share your takeaways. Share them out to others, allow people to tune into you and calibrate up. Sit with yourself. Don't just necessarily word for word, compare yourself to others. Try to apply it to yourself. What part is speaking to you? Because only then can you authentically attract people in clear, concise way. They're not confused. So I encourage you guys all this weekend to do a little surrendering, to do some reflecting. Like I said, you can move fast, you can collapse time. A lot of us are already, we've already put in the work. We're already there. It's just this one little tweak. Maybe this was the thing. Maybe this is the breakthrough you need, tapping into this emotional side, this energy, more of your feminineness. So I feel like I've said what I need to say. I've let it come out of me. I'm not even going to look here at my notes. I trust that this message was received for you guys. Um, keep this energy going. I mean, like I said, I've already heard so many wins from you all because you're tapping into that power. You're starting to have the permission to unleash it and to feel good about celebrating. Sometimes we feel guilty for even celebrating ourselves because we don't want to be cocky or this or that. But I'm telling you, if you are coming at it intentionally, authentically, people need that. We need to wake the other lions, and this is how you do it. So just believe in yourselves. You're here for a reason. If it's within you, if you're receiving it, if you're hearing it, it's within you too. You have it too. So, yes, do some of this surrendering and reflecting because next Friday we are going to dive deeper into what I just mentioned, like doing it for you, the self-love, not feeling guilty, not feeling shameful or remorseful, knowing that if you love yourself, you will lead yourself to greatness. You don't need other people to tell you what to do. You might need other people to bring it out of you and encourage you and inspire you like we're doing here, but enough of this default mentorship or default management, allowing other people to tell you what you like and what you don't, what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. We know that you have it within you to do it however you want to do it. Right? So that is what I hope to bring out of everyone, is just that you unleash these last 3 months. Like, I feel like so many of us have been holding back, and it's just like saying, why not? Like, it's now or never. Like, the world is shifting, people are changing. This is the time. This is the time to do it. So next week we'll be tapping into that, and then we'll have 2 courses every month rounding out the year. If you are all part of my higher level group, you know who you are. If you want to learn more about that, just reach out to me. You guys, you're going to have lifetime access to this Unleashed series because, I'm talking to the people that want this, because not everyone is going to, like I said, be a receiver of what you have. This is kind of a different way of thinking. So you'll have lifetime access. If not, then there will be, this whole month is complimentary. It's free. I want people to see if they're an energetic match. I want you to start applying some of this stuff and see, like, does it work? Sometimes you need that validation, right? And if so, then you owe it to yourself to continue on. And there'll be a small fee for November and December. Unless, like I said, you're part of our group, then you get lifetime access. So we can go over more of that on Friday. I'll have a special offer for everybody. Thanks to everyone who shared in their stories that you're all in. I chose a winner, and Liza, are you on? There she is. You're gonna win this book. I'm gonna send it out to you with another little goodie to kind of get you into this whole alignment mode. And so, you guys, I just appreciate you all for being here. Your energy is contagious. This is the zone we want to stay in throughout this. We're gonna dive into the rest of the courses. If you look under the event section, that's where I'll post the next event. And I'm just going to have to reevaluate, see if we're going to continue doing the Zoom or if I'll try for Facebook again. But that does not matter. What matters is that this message gets out there. I know it's going to live on. We're going to be sharing this to people over the months, and we're already going to be moving on to that next thing. So just know everything's always in motion. Everything's always worth it. What you're doing now is for the future. What you did in the past is for now. Okay, stay in this forward thinking, and start really loving yourself enough to do this hard inner work. You guys, let's share our wins from now until next week. I'll have a post where we can share some of these maybe breakthroughs or shifts that we're seeing happening. That's what fuels me. That's what excites me. And so with that being said, I think this concludes our first aligned action course. Thank you all for being on. I hope you loved it. I am going to try to take some screenshots of all these notes in here so we can put them in the comments. And we'll see you guys in the Unleashed group. Share this, like I said, your takeaways wherever you feel called to share them. Reach out if you have anything you want to talk about. And I look forward to unleashing the rest of this with you all. Love you all. Have a great afternoon, great weekend.